don't criticize government. If you are giving money, say no, don't criticize government. Say government, and I know that government is not doing well. I will criticize government. Let me not take the money. If I'm coming here now, it's sponsored. Say Lancelot should go there, talk, say, oh, Tinubu is the best. Everything is going well. And I'm not convinced. I will not say that.
Right.
But a lot of people might not be able.
You know, a wise man been talk say, if lion no learn how to write in story, hunter will continue to take the glory. Which means, say, if you no learn how to talk your talk, person go regularly they talk am for you. With that, allow me welcome you to another exciting episode of LahorTalk, where we dey keep am raw, informative and ridiculously entertaining. As you know, my name is Vic Riches, and as always, once I don't sit down gidiban for this studio, I know they do alone, because as man they talk, you even need woman perspective so that the equation go balance. Sure, you get me? That's why I don't go find Lady Zil Smith.
Hi.
How you doing now?
I did fine, no. I mean, how I go do now? You know, say as the country day, but we got
You
stay
still all right?
Yeah, sure.
Now it makes sense. And as always, we dey always bring you delight on LahorTalk. You know, I be mention lion when I start. Person way we carry come studio today, now lion. If they talk about captain of industry, now who him be? I'm talking about a Nollywood icon, a veteran filmmaker, a prolific
legend.
showrunner. See this man what they talk about, now cultural icon. If you see the way he dresses, you go agree with me totally. With over 3 decades of experience in Nollywood and with over 150 films, 150, I know one just, I know say stretch past, over 150 films to his credit. They call him the governor of Nollywood. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary ambassador Lancelot Oduwa Imasuen.
I think we should clap.
Thank you very much.
It's so good to have you with us, sir.
Yeah.
Welcome to the studio,
Now
sir.
for screen we dey see your name, but see now we did with you. How are you feeling today, sir?
Very well. Nice, very good to be here. And your introduction was quite encapsulating.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Until the animals also learn to tell their stories. The hunter's perspective is what goes around. So it's very important. Like we say, if you don't give your product a name, enemies will jump at it and give you whatever name.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
That's it. Very good introduction.
Thank you
sir.
very
But
much.
how are you feeling? I mean, 30 years, that's a lot. Like, that's 3 decades already. I mean, how?
30 years is being modest. And that's, I just try to... Yesterday, I rounded up a set. I did a short film, a movie titled 3 for the Game.
Wow.
These days, we just want to experiment. I shot an entire movie in one room.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes. In
So
one
we're creating
room.
sets in those rooms?
No, in an office, just one office.
Wow.
Okay.
So, the same way we have started to say, you know what, I want to make an entire movie in one house. When I shot my film all the way in Atlanta, Lovebirds, I said the entire movie would be in one house. So
How was that
everything-
possible, though?
Yeah, everything happened in one house, but you are here spellbound. So again, I just thought, I said, you know what, in marking 30 years, I want to do extraordinary things. Like,
Okay.
I also shot a movie, and now a Stairway Bow, and a dual language movie, contemporary movie, entirely shot in Lagos.
Wow.
So I also thought about,
Was it strictly Edo language?
yes,
Wow.
yes, a dual language movie, contemporary, beautiful beach, everything. So, so I also said, I will make a film in just one office, all the situations, in just one office, and let's see whether it's going to be boring. And we made a film. So when I rounded up, I brought an album that is my collection of over the years. So I brought a picture of my first film shot here in Lagos 30 years ago, and I showed and I was like, wow. I said, yes, this has been the journey. So for me, 30 is just a number.
Yeah.
We're just
Scratching the surface.
Starting. Because, again, I started quite early. I want to say. I'm 54, which means I made my first commercial film. So I say my first commercial film. From history, actually started my motion picture journey. All of that is captured in my book titled A Trip in Motion that is going to be released in November. I wanted people to have a background of where we're coming from. So my involvement in arts, in motion pictures, started since 1987. So I just script of all that. In 1987, acting on screen, assisting to direct. But commercially, I made my first film, Adaku, an Igbo language movie, which was another wow. Bini man,
that was shot in Enugu.
No, it was shot in Lagos here.
In Lagos, wow.
So how were you able to direct a language that you do not understand? So that was another high then. And we've gone ahead to make films in Ibibio.
Wow.
Made films in Yoruba. And all of that. Just art is global. Language is just a means of communication.
100%.
The story is same. However you want to put it through. So, 30 years to be modest.
Now, still 30. Still on the 30 years of doing movies. Doing what you love, literally. Now, what are you proud of about Nollywood at 30? And what are the things you feel you're not excited about, or they should have been done differently?
Yeah, Nollywood is not 30. Lancelot Imasuen practice
for you.
30. Nollywood just a few years older in terms of practice. We actually were the foundation of Nollywood. A lot of my colleagues, some are gone, some are still here, some are being cocooned to the dustbin of history. But I make bold to say, actively, for 30 years, there is no year that I've not made a film. So when you say above 150, that's far below the numbers. I have, as a director, credit of over 400 titles.
Wow. Look at that. That's a lot.
I've shot in practically every area in the world outside Asia to Hollywood. I made my first film in Hollywood as a director. 2006, I shot a film, Close Enemies, with top Nollywood stars like Zach Oji and Kate Henshaw. I traveled with them from here to Hollywood to make that film. Somebody wanted an experiment. A Nigerian directed film in Hollywood with all the paraphernalias that make the big Hollywood film that we made. So that is that. Over time, we made films on I've shot in Ghana, I've shot in the US, in other parts of the US, I've shot in Italy, I've shot in Germany, I've shot in Holland, shot in Canada, shot in United Kingdom, different movies at different times and all that. So say like this, art is my life.
Art is your life. You're a thespian to the core. Nothing don't sweet my body pass, than listening to you, I think 9 months ago, when you announced the return of Issakaba. This is a movie I watched as a child, and seeing that it is coming back, it gave me greater joy. And I heard when you spoke about the reason why this is the right time to tell this story again, especially for younger generation. We don't know the impact Issakaba created at the time, from part 1 down to part 4. Oh, was 5?
5.
Part 5. Now look at that. And now we're having a return of Issakaba. And one thing that drew me to that story was how it was able to tackle a lot of social and political issues, particularly state policing. So I'm concerned. I'm sure with everything that is happening in our country right now, there are other areas you're using this return to address.
Well, movies, art serves a purpose in the society. It's a mirror for which the society looked at itself. We also can project what should be, how it should be. But Issakaba as a phenomenon, Issakaba as a project, Issakaba as a work of art has now transcended just that phase of, it's a fame. Issakaba became a way of life. I cannot recall, it is not written anywhere, that a film was able to garner, made here in Nigeria such a following like that work. Suffice to know that when Issakaba was shot, 4 other movies on same theme were also shot, released on the same day.
Wow.
Wow.
Same day. Because then, what film ought to be, using it as a platform to mirror the society, was what we used it for. There was an event in the eastern part of Nigeria, precisely Aba, Onitsha, where some guys decided to take their destiny in their hands. And which is what is being advocated now. State police. People say, let the business of security must be squarely rested on the residents. Those that knows their forest, they know their bushes, they know the path to the rivers and all that. Let them be saddled legally with the responsibility of providing security for themselves. So Issakaba had projected that, which is one of the business of fame. Project what should be. I made a film 2004 titled African Heroes, where I projected how the Nigerian police should behave. When that film was screened inside the Sheraton Hotel in Abuja, people walked out of the hall that it was not possible that Nigerian police. Some guys were arbitrarily arrested, taken to the police station, and their boss came and apologized to the guys that his boys had acted out of contest and gave them money. And people went berserk. Said, it cannot be. I said, yeah, it may not be so. But this is the Nigerian police of my dream. As a filmmaker, this Nigerian police I was projecting. Civility, where they also respect the law. People didn't understand what I was saying then.
And now we're seeing it.
So now, Issakaba, no better time would it have been returned, if not now, where the business of security has gone to its lowest ebb in Nigeria, where everybody lives in fear, where everybody now is suspicious of the other person. Never in the history of Nigeria has security been so downgraded or degraded to this level. So I say now there is reason for Issakaba resurging. The Issakaba in us, we all have the capacity to withstand
100
if the encouragement and the wherewithal is there. So for the Issakaba boys, for them is to look inward. I can assure you, people will be blown away.
I look forward to it.
Because when we first make Issakaba, the use of special effects and all of that
We're not
was
there.
manually manipulated by us. The head going off and all of that. You are going to see the kind of effect you've never seen before.
Wow. I cannot wait, honestly.
So it's like the Issakaba in us must be reawakened.
Reenacted.
Government needs to give the empowerment. I'm looking at it from a more socio-political angle.
Yes.
The role of the politicians in the abysmal running of our country. Issakaba captured that. And most times, the act of the worm that eats the leaf residing inside the leaf. All that were looked at. We will not let a lot out of the cat. And the fact that the issue of appreciation, there is need now. There's a debate going on now. State police, state police, state police. There were fears. There has always been fear of the state police being hijacked by
government
governors
officials
and all of that.
Yeah.
The way we see. So a lot went down. So Issakaba is coming, he's dropping this year, commemorating 30 years of assiduous labor in the Nigerian film industry. And I wouldn't have asked for more. And to also, when people just slide into my DM to say, last week somebody called go and eat it since you don't want to bring it out.
So because the last time I heard you talked about it, you said in the first quarter of 2025.
First quarter don't finish like this. The process is sometimes far beyond our control.
Yeah.
If we have waited, I remade Issakaba 24 years after. That's why when I see very old lady like this say I want Issakaba, I say, wow, how old were you when you made Issakaba? So it defied ages. Children were all running to see. One of my investors now, one of the brains behind Issakaba, said that why did he stuck on his head that the father flogged nonsense out of him when they are coming from school, they are shouting,
that should be the
soundtrack. And they said the father, so he couldn't have forgotten that experience when the father flogged that is. So today he became one of those that is remaking that film.
Fantastic.
So a lot that we can connect to Issakaba. It gives me a lot of joy that in my lifetime as an artist, I made a work iconically dropped that has transcended time.
Generation.
24 years after people are still talking about it and waiting for a remake. I know they're are you sure they'll be able to make it then? Or that don't worry.
It's a command.
Break.
Speaking of stories like this that are very compelling, it brings me back to we telling authentic stories. I don't know, as someone who has spent over 3 decades in the industry, are we telling these stories that would shape how we want to be perceived, not just within our 4 walls as Nigerians, but beyond Africa and globally, that tells the white man that this is a representation of Nigeria?
Who we are,
Yeah, well, number one, Nollywood as an institution has been able to reposition what we call now the organic and authentic African cinema. Unlike before, where all you saw from here were stories as presented from the point of view of the Western media. But today, like I just said now, we have the independence of creativity. I can see 3-4 cameras here. That's all that I needed to tell my story. That kudos must be given to Nollywood. Before then, it was difficult for an African to tell their stories. A lot of black films then, it's always from very negative perspective, pestilence, diseases, and all of that. But today, we have the liberty to tell whatever kind of story that we wish to tell. So that must be a plus for Nollywood. And it's not just, we have seen how far we have gone. But to be very honest with you, I still see a lot of filmmakers cheating towards what they think. That's where I differ from a lot of my colleagues. What they think should be the way we should tell our story that must excite people outside. I don't subscribe to that. I want to be at liberty to tell whatever kind of story that pricks my fancy at any point in time. But organically speaking, the kind of filmmaker I've been, I pride myself as a cultural activist. I'm proudly Benin from Edo State, Nigeria, from the Great Benin Kingdom. And as a result, I want to tell stories that relate. Like I said, I just shot a film that is entirely Edo language, shot in Lagos. I've done same in England, where I shot an entire movie in the UK, in Ogi, London. And sometimes too, the focus of filmmaking and media to inform, educate, and entertain. You also are at liberty as a filmmaker to misinform,
Right.
de-entertain, and de-educate. Because Nollywood came to de-educate the mind of our Western audience, that very parochial narrative, one-sided narrative they have about Africa. This is not what I heard. I'm a very big traveler. I've been to several parts of the world where the early days of Nollywood, whenever we land anywhere around the world, the blacks is like, you can't believe it. Before they ask you, how was your trip? The first is,
I want to check you.
What film did you bring?
Yeah.
Because that became their reawakening of their identity.
Yeah.
Before then, in Germany, most black people were just living in trees. These were not a facade. It was true. That was how people, because that was what the Western media projected about us. But when Nollywood films started coming, they see limousines, they see places like this, and these guys are mad.
Living
Say,
well,
are you
yeah.
serious? Is this Africa? I said, no, it's not Africa. It's inside the forest. It's not Africa. Because before now, what do you call that? You de-educate what their mind had been fed with.
Yeah.
The kind of pictures they've seen about Africa. So Nollywood was able to, you see movies like Wedding Party, you see Affluence, you see all that. People was like, are you serious?
Wow,
Yes,
yeah.
that's Africa.
We're changing it.
Everything. I used to tell when I'm in New York, I tell them, yeah, if you come to Lagos, you almost have a replica of New York.
True.
Because go to train stations in New York and you see rats running left,
Up
right, and
and
center. It's so true. The first time I was in California, I was shocked. Leaving the airport, not a few minutes from the airport, broken roads. Yeah, it may not be as terrible as
The ones
the way
here.
I was the day, but broken roads too. I immediately remember Majek Fashek's song, Majek Fashek in New York. That there are beggars on the street of New York. And that's the way it is.
Yeah.
You get to some places in Atlanta, you are shocked. And you're like, are you
I
sure you're
sure?
still
This is-
in America? That America that the
That is
Hollywood
glorified.
has,
Yeah.
that's the way it is. But sadly, not until when Goodluck Jonathan became president, the government has not really looked at the business of art and its potentials to create another picture of who we are. You see, capturing Africa would just be like this by Nigeria, capturing now by way of imperialism, our dress sense, our culture, the way we do things. You can't imagine the power of what Nollywood did. All of the information that the other part of Africa have today about us is what they saw from the films.
True.
So, but sadly, the money wasn't coming to us. They were just looking for it until this democratization through YouTube that is that coming and all that, which a lot of us did not embrace on time because it didn't just work with us for us when we started. Say, I can just make a film, go and give, but that's where we are now. So, greatly speaking, Nollywood has played its part
Yes.
in educating, in de-educating, in entertaining, in de-entertaining, in informing, and also misinforming. Because there are also other negative aspects of Nollywood you cannot take away, like the ritual things and all that. People say, you just There is none of those ritualistic things where you are encouraged to go and do it. You say you meet, if you do it this way, this is the result you are going to make. But you don't run away from that and say, I was at the airport in the UK, somebody saw me with a bead and came to me and said, Igwe. No, I was in Dubai. He said, Igwe. He couldn't connect. Igwe. I said, excuse me, I don't understand. He said, I watch a lot of I'm from Zimbabwe. I watch a lot of Nigerian films.
And
so
this
the men
what
that
they
wear this, everybody Igwe. Oh my God!
Wow.
That's the way it is. So
Nollywood.
we can't wish away the strength of what Nollywood has done. The people are not celebrated enough, especially the brains behind. Those that have gotten all the celebration and have run away with the money, the fame, the largesse are those in front of the camera. So I'm even surprised that we are now beginning to get invitations, channels, television, TVC, all of them, they are calling. So you guys, there are people behind. But before now, it's been just those in front
of the camera. All right, sir. That takes me, but I want to go back to the question, he asked you earlier, because you said something and it really made sense to me. You said you had a projection of how Nigerian police should be, of how you want it to be. So now my question is this. With the way the system is now, that is very corrupt, do you think that the Nigerian police, in quote, can go back to what you think it should have been?
Well, I won't be here to say Nigerian police corrupt. There are elements within the police that are corrupt. That you can't take away. It will be disastrous to say the Nigerian police is corrupt. There are elements within the police, like it is with every other institution in Nigeria. There are teachers that are corrupt. I went to a French school yesterday, and the first day, and she told me that almost half of the school fees that are paid, the staff, they just tell they say pay the money to
that goes to their pocket,
their own personal account. That will not be police. So what we should begin to address as a people, the individuals that make up these institutions. What you know about America today, that young people, they have never left Benin City to Oluku. Oluku is the first major junction before you now start saying you are heading to Lagos. They're already saying, I wanna. They dress and do and all this they see through the films. The power, the instrumentality of motion picture, of the movies has not been appreciated and given its pride of place by the government and those in charge. I think that's where the problem is, because you can't effectively use the instrumentality of motion picture to shape the minds of people, young people, direct them towards positivity. That we have not been able to do. Tackling corruption that is endemic in our system, that has eaten so deep into the fabric of the average Nigerian, we can begin deliberately, intentionally, use motion picture, use entertainment to disinform, to de-educate our minds that if you do these things this way, this is the result we get. It's like the political system in Nigeria. Scream, not adverts. People will just carry propaganda. When we begin to knot all of this into stories, they are just watching, enjoying themselves, and you begin to see some certain things play out. I'm sure there will be some rethink. And if you watch this film, there is this issue of patriotism inside. You watch this other film, there is this issue of patriotism from another angle. You watch this film, you watch 10 movies, no matter the story that is being told, the Nigerianness, the importance of it, they are brought in. Before you know,
unconsciously,
it will begin to have its spheral effect on the people. So that is where government has failed to use the call it equipment, call it the area that is their venue that they have to begin to change the minds of our people. The biggest challenge we have today as a people is issue of discipline.
How so?
I think we are the most indisciplined people that walk the surface of the earth.
Nigeria.
When you travel, watch the way we conduct ourselves at the airport. When you are coming back, you watch the way we conduct ourselves in other places. Immediately the flight land, bam, for here. That Nigerian spirit don't take over.
back.
So I don't sound
Factory settings.
Look at when you're coming from anywhere else. Nobody tells you
They
stay
are
on the line.
coordinated, yeah.
Nobody tells you can't talk to. My God, you see immigration officer on a place, you go very peaceful body. You can't talk to. But once you land in Nigeria, so these are issues that I feel when we begin to get consensus leadership, we begin to use these little things. All the Bonner boys, all the Lancelot Oduwa Imasuen, all the Davidos, all the to begin to put in some of these. Even those vices, you see, all these musicians, they are go everywhere. Bottle of water. Do you know? In the United Kingdom, you cannot hold alcohol on the road. You can't be seen. If you go to buy alcohol in liquor shop, you are going to wrap it. It must not be seen.
Yes.
How once we get here, they all their musical video, everybody they do this. And even in filming, I tell people, when you are filming, you must not use alcohol on set. Whatever they done, you let them know this is to simulate that it is alcohol, but it's not. These are the way things are done. When all these little things are begin to enter into our system consciously, you see things will begin to change. But until then, I'm sorry. The elements, when you say corruption, it probably runs from one end to another.
Yeah.
Those that are on the road, they get Baba the way go
Yes.
when they come back alpha, they hustle for all of these things. So these things have become a part of our lives. And I do not have I given up? A very, very, very funny question to answer. But you find out that we are free as Nigerians, we're here. A lot of us really wish that this country is better. We pray that it gets better, and we hope that it gets better.
Well, amen to that. You talked about the government not making provisions in expanding the creative industry. And if we look at it critically, like you rightly said, Nollywood, Afrobeat, I think these two are one of our greatest exports internationally.
Right.
But I'm a bit worried. If, for instance, because if you talk to filmmakers, they'll tell you one of the greatest problems we face in this industry is funding. If we now start getting this funding, I hope our stories, or I hope we'll still retain the independence that we need in telling our stories.
Beautiful question. He who pays the piper,
It takes his tune.
Yeah.
But there is where we have got into. This is where you can begin to think about patriotism. Those that are in charge, what do they even know? Because you can't give what you don't have.
Absolutely.
What is the intentionality? Honestly, if government provides the enabling environment, I prefer the enabling environment more than the funding.
Yeah.
Because there are people that can provide the fund, but what is the guarantee that they will be able to get back
their money?
So I think that's where I differ. Yeah, there's another creative fund that federal government want to
Create.
They have created now. They just came out now. I have never benefited. I said I want to go and apply. I'll also benefit from it because we are putting far more than the creative sector. Once we now know that we are more important than most governors, we are more important than most senators, we are more important than whatever. You sit down, you create stories that people in millions of miles, thousands of miles away, will watch. They follow you. When you want them to cry, they'll begin to cry. You want them to laugh, they'll begin to laugh. Do you know the kind of mind that is able to simulate such?
A very creative mind.
But attend any event. Once one counselor is there, the MC will want to first recognize the counselor before they will not go and tell him that Lancelot is here. Say who is Lancelot. That's how they make film. So you look at these people. Where we belong to a lot of groups, a lot of political group, and look at this. So that is where we are as the people. But once government is able to create an enabling environment, the act of patriotism is activated naturally. You cannot. It's not about don't criticize government. If you are giving money, say no, don't criticize government. Say government, and I know that government is not doing well. I will criticize government. Let me not take the money. If I'm coming here now, it's sponsored. Say Lancelot should go there, talk, say, oh, Tinubu is the best. Everything is going well. And I'm not convinced. I will not say that.
Right.
But a lot of people might not be able. Oh boy. That's where we are. But the truth of the matter is that when the enabling environment is created, there are drops of patriotic stance that should be in our films. Like now, display Nigerian flag in your films, in offices. I'm not talking about it, but if you see film one, you see it. You see another film, you see what is it like that? You see, you understand? Let us also, even states. Most time we only talk about the federal government. The worst states, they don't even understand. Do you know that our inability to identify and celebrate our culture? Let's say now we want to do food fair. Our greatest work for unity will be, I am celebrating your own strength. You are celebrating my own strength.
Yes.
That's the way it is. If we say fashion, we say rich culture, fashion that is identical to these people, to these people. Let's bring them together. Do you know, as we are going, I was in Ethiopia recently. I do that every year. As I was coming, I went to buy their outfit. So recently, during the Coal City Film Festival, a film, an Ethiopian film, I arranged for its premiere at the festival. The night the film was going to be shown, I adorned the Ethiopian apparel.
Congratulations, by the way, on your Hall of Fame.
Oh, thank you. Okay, you read. So, the guy was shocked. He wore suit. I said, look at you. You're coming to Nigeria. You are going to show a film about your own culture.
And you're wearing a suit.
You wear suit. Me. Now, what does that give us? When we have that cultural embrace, you see all this unity they are fighting for. So there's nothing that will unite us more than using the solidarity of our culture.
Yeah.
When you are done the Yoruba attire, and I done the Igbo attire, I have all of them. I have from Hausa, depending on the occasion, I wear it. You will think I'm a northerner. I have the Igbo thing. Yes, I have chieftain titles from the Igbo. Nothing will unite us as much as that. But unfortunately, those that are in charge of us,
not to look Western.
Now so there. It is not just. I wonder. You see, let's understand the power of fashion. There's a massacre somewhere, like we have heard of late, severally. The governor is going there to commiserate with the people that have been killed. You wear blue, agbada. Then I begin to say, these guys, are they well? Shouldn't you connect with
them?
With
the theme of what you're good.
That's the strength. The other day they said Donald Trump wore blue suit to the burial of
The Pope.
The Pope.
The Pope.
it attracted global condemnation. So there is power in even how you appear, because they say dress the way you want to be addressed.
Addressed.
Right.
So these are some of the things which I see culture, motion picture, music can be used to really enhance our unity, which our people are not those in charge. This must be intentional. This stuff must be intentional. There's no games. Okay, you know what? Let us begin to drive our unity using the instrumentality of our culture. Then get those with the idea to say, okay, this. So Nigerian food fair. Say this food, this amala. The person that not eating before, say this is a kind content. There's nothing that will unite us as much as that.
100%.
You one time spoke about Nigerians. I mean, not. You see, you made a video sometime last month where you spoke about the people, the voiceless people. That who is going to talk for you when things like this, for instance, what happened to Natasha with the Senate president? What happened to him? And when you made that video, something struck me. Like, imagine a woman like that is, in such a position
Of influence.
being victimized and being tried to shut in, don't talk, don't come and say what it is or what is not. And when you made that video of saying people that do not have a voice, who is going to talk for them? Now my question is this: a woman of that caliber being victimized in such a scenario, in such situations, just like you rightly said, what do you think is going to be our positions? For instance, when we are just a regular human being that we do not have somebody to talk for us, we are just the how do I even call it?
What's the fate of a common man?
The common man when it has to do with situations like that.
Yeah.
If I had an answer, I wouldn't have made that video. When that whole Natasha issue came up, so I actually just sat back and looked at this one at them demo. This fight not them. Nothing concerned the ordinary of us. So when the ordinary of us actually gets into such situation, then if the lady can get to that level of helplessness and hopelessness, what's the way forward? That goes to tell you how far we have deteriorated as a people, communally. That goes to tell you how far we have degenerated as a people. You are with them when you conform. You are seen and accepted as one of them once you agree to everything or anything that they are doing. Once you do not conform, forget it. That's what played out with the Natasha, whatever. I'm not taking side with anybody because nobody knows the
full story.
But I would cry the sea road.
Still narrowing what she mentioned, voice of the voiceless, being a voice. You are one person that have championed the cause for the people who started Nollywood with you. I've seen you several times advocating that these people deserve more in terms of welfare. A structure has to be set up for people who made the industry what it is today. Unfortunately, that's not the reality that we're seeing.
Well, I had a media parley last week. Been a media week, very serious one. And I think the problem first starts from us, the practitioners. This is a very sad reality. Very sad reality. Those that were thrown up 30 years ago, there were no stars. The system manufactured the stars
on
its own owing to the assiduousness and creative impetus of some persons. We chose the area we had our strength. Lancelot said he's a director. I studied acting, but I knew I had strength in interpretative skills. So I chose to be a director from the day one. Some persons were beautiful enough, the Ramsey ones and that, to be in front of the camera. Nobody was a star. Nobody was a celebrity. The system built everybody. If I had known that being in front of the camera would have paid me more, I would have been in front of the camera.
Doesn't mean that you're regretting now.
No, I'm not regretting. I don't regret. I said if I knew, if I had known that, if you get to a time in Nigeria, they will forget that somebody conceived a story, that somebody wrote the script, that somebody did the makeup, that somebody gave them the clothes that they wore. Somebody screamed his voice to us. No, do it like this. Do it like that. Do it like that. Somebody was behind the camera to operate, manipulate the camera to capture the picture. If I knew, they would be so abandoned by the system, by the people. Maybe all of us press record, all of us run in front of the camera and be doing what we're doing today. You don't need to be all those grammar you were speaking to introduce, but you don't need it. As I'm walking on the street, say, hey, look at that man, look at that. If I knew, say that's what they go do us, I would have chosen to also
be in front of the camera.
Oh my! Don't worry, you're going to see a film now. I've started acting. Wow! Oh yes, I've started acting. Okay, because that was what I studied.
Does it mean Issakaba too? You're also acting. Are you acting?
I was too stupid. I never realized it. I would have played Igudu. Because whenever I say Issakaba, the first say that cripple man. I will forget. If I knew. If I knew that the system would not be structured in such a way that everybody gets their own, I would have long said, 300 movies if I've been doing 1 minute. Do you know how many minutes? My friends everywhere.
You would have gone viral.
That's the way it is. now, YouTube now, everybody they do. I will just drop one film for YouTube. I will beg and beg actors. Say, make me push on. What a country, what a practice, what a people. But how come that it is not same in other clime? How come I'm here? I studied James Cameron. I know all the Peter Jackson. I know all of the big that are directors. They never also to one thing for because the system has arranged that you get your slice of the pie. But here, winner takes it all.
What's the problem? How can we restructure that in favor of everyone?
No, that one is gone. It can never. It's like you're asking me now, how can Nigeria become be like whatever? I don't know. That is a dishonest question.
But you know, I think the system has actually evolved, right?
No, the only way now, like I told you, I'm not kidding. Can I shock you?
Okay.
Please.
I am offered more money to act than I'm being offered to direct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I played the 2 major movies where they said they needed me to play. And I know what I was offered as an actor. And the directors are like, my God. I said, yo, boy, it's better to be late than to be delayed. And that is the truth.
Yeah.
But if the system was structured in such a way that everybody gets their own, I don't need to go and envy you because you're in front of the camera. No. There's an Oscar. People are there. I said the film that started African magic, my film Day, the first 10 movies. They do event today, now they remember to even invite me. But I'm still alive.
Wow. But I think the AM this year, I think they have recognition for Best Director of the Year, movie
I don't have a problem
now
because now everybody will give the fame by themselves. Not be not be program they do so.
So.
Why did I agree to come here? Probably if I'm going to arise. You said it until the hunter, the animal, begin to tell his own story.
Hunter go take glory.
Now, so now we say, when I enter, I demand something. I demand
Why?
Small thing. See as he just pass out. Until the animal said, "Alive, this man didn't even come near where we were gathered."
Yeah.
So that's the era, and I'm calling on all those seasoned minds, great minds, creative geniuses. Those men with some just them. That's why today I celebrate so a lot of my colleagues. Kunya Falao. For the day one, oh boy, you will carry all this film, tell somebody where you not going to look back again. People you raised. I don't want to begin to call people. People you just. Do you know that an artist has part of my face?
Wow.
Because I was saying, when 1997, I was looking for Liz Benson's look-alike. I saw this lady, I ran, I said, wait, you look like, he said, so they talk. No phone, no social media. I said, I'm going to make a film. I'm going to make a film that I want Liz Benson. I follow, why you get turned back as part of my face?
Wow.
Now, if that girl had entered that time, it go be star. I'm going to need them to beg him to up. Yeah. And this system is so warped. This system is unbelievable.
But what do you think can be done to...
Now we talk.
I don't make a film now. I act for inside.
So.
You create all the... Is there no controversy they want? Now, I'm not going... There's no negative controversy. I create my own. Lancelot Oduwa Imasuen is the brain behind the most iconic film ever made in Nigeria history.
Loud and proud.
Issakaba, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first ever Nigerian film that has had a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. 24 years after, the same man
is coming back.
Is remaking the film titled now Issakaba Return. My brother, if you don't give your product a name, especially enemies, they'll give you whatever name.
That's so now.
But have you thought of making it like a series, sort of?
That one, where time will tell.
That's
of course, I will not end this without part of the older, the juicier.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a trending piece on the internet as we speak called Area Command. I don't know whether you guys have heard
we
about
don't see them now. Yes, no. And I like as you put all the OGs for there.
That's what we are saying. I don't watch. I go to the comment because I made the work.
Yeah.
I'm a producer director for Liam Studios. I now looked at all the comments. So they're actually missing these guys. Because if not be that thing, it not go fit be that thing.
It not go fit be
so these are the things we're talking about. At the end of the day, people say, I can see Lancelot hand on this thing. I can see that. So, today, I read an article yesterday, all these YouTube films, they no depth, nothing. I said, well, boy, today, filmmaking is just about chop money.
It's just to make money.
Everybody wants to quickly survive. Do that. If you know what we used to do to make a film, that is Issakaba you saw. The brains that sat, who an idea comes, we subject it to what we call script conference.
Wow.
Where the stories is grinded. The writer is now appointed from among those that were part of the script conference. Who now goes to from the script conference, the scenes are broken down, characters are created. Not one person, several individuals. See, that's okay. So that's why Issakaba you saw was drawn from Last Burial. Sam Dede, those are what Last Burial. Sam Dede's character was the same. A positive, I just switched the character because in Last Burial he was a cultist, terrible one.
Yeah.
When how we going to play? I said Sam Dede. I'm going to repeat Sam Dede what I used him to do in Last Burial. But now I just switched him to be a good. A better version of the character he was, and that's the way it is. These are the processes that goes into filmmaking. But now, people one day want to do, let's go. Next one.
I cannot thank you enough, Sir Lancelot, Ambassador Lancelot, the governor of Nollywood. It's such an honor to have you right here at LahorTalk. And thank you too for the great insights we don't share. In this minute where we don't spend together, the kind of things we don't come up for your mouth, they need write down for book, make people to read. So thank you so much for being a part of this episode, and we look forward to the return of Issakaba.
Yeah.
Look forward to it. And as Ibi said, we for Lahore Studio, when Chief come inside our studio, we go honor and with what we get. If you know get millions of dollars, but what we don't package together, we know see Chief go value. That's why Lahore Studio, we don't put together. Bring this special package now.
Special package.
Oh, give to Chief Ambassador.
To Chief Ambassador
Lancelot.
Thank you for coming.
Imasuen.
He
have you, don't worry. No, open up for you. He have you.
Yeah, let me. May I say that this is one of the first podcasts I've been invited. We hope to do a lot this year in terms of being visible.
Yeah.
I want to especially thank and appreciate the entire management of Lahore
podcast
worldwide.
Yeah.
Calling, we say Lahore worldwide. According to Lahore worldwide. Lahore worldwide. Like a joke, Lahore is becoming a grandiose name as far as entertainment is concerned globally. Big shout out to Prince Paul Agbolao, the chairman CEO of the Lahore Group. Lahore is us, we are Lahore.
That's so easy.
I want to commend you guys, the presenters, the whole management from when they started speaking on me. In as much as I'm a member of the house, I was so professionally handled. I'm calling on my colleagues, entertainers, people that have stuff to say, to get in touch with LahorTalk and come express yourself like I've just done. Once again, I accept this wholeheartedly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. All right, so thank you, my very chief ambassador. Lancelot Oduwa Imasuen, the Governor General. I don't have general on top of Nollywood. We appreciate you for being here. You see now, this episode was fun-packed, exciting, very educative.
Very insightful.
You go miss out if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the only way you get back-to-back delight from some of your free. We brought you an OG, and we will bring new cuts tomorrow. So make sure to stay glued to LahorTalk YouTube channel, me for no miss out. And you can follow us on other social media platforms.
Yes, you can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. Go click the subscribe button because we are coming back with something juicy and very interesting.
100%. As always, I will tell you, if you know talk, person will help you talk. So make sure to keep telling your stories. My name is Vic Riches.
And I'm Zeal.
All right.